No matter how many different ways I try and make jerky, I keep coming back to this method. It's the simplest, easiest, and most delicious way to do it. So I'm Nick, and this is Intro to Jerky. I'm using sizzle steaks because, as you'll see, the precision 5mm cut makes for epic consistency with your dehydration times. Apple cider vinegar, Worcestershire sauce, sriracha, and your Biltong rub. But the king of all flavor and a must is MSG.
MSG.
Now, I like to trim off the fat, but that's totally a personal preference. Carney likes it on, up to you. You can use any sort of lean cut of beef. I've tried them all, but I keep going back to sizzle steaks because basically, I'm lazy. They're super cheap, the dehydration time is really consistent, but if you're gonna slice yourself, go with something like topside roast. You wanna cut them into inch and a half long strips. I save all my offcuts and grind them into burgers, but if you have a local canine, they always love to share. The next step is optional. It's a quick marinade. It adds maybe 10% flavor and your jerky stores just a little bit longer, but most of the time, I can't be bothered. Up to you though. It's 2 parts water, 1 part apple cider vinegar, 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, squirt of chili sauce if you like spice. Dunk your strips in, throw it in the fridge for 20 minutes. When they're done, pat them dry and you're ready to get some spice mix onto these bad boys. The spice mix we're using is a Biltong spice mix. I used to make my own, but when I found out I can buy it for $20 a kilo from my local South African store, being lazy me, of course I'm gonna do that. And I tell you what, it tastes better than what you can make your own. If you wanted to make it yourself, it's just 1 part pepper, 1 part whole coriander, 1 part salt. Throw it in a grinder, Bob's your uncle, you've got your own Biltong spice. When it comes to putting on our spices, what you wanna do is a light dusting over your beef. You can definitely over salt or over spice this and it's complete disaster. So what I totally recommend is that you just do a light dusting over each piece, flip it, light dusting over the back as well. Now for the king of all flavor, MSG. We're gonna put a light dusting on each side of the piece of beef.
How can you miss the king of flavor?
Once we've spiced up our beef, put it on a plate, cover it in Glad wrap, straight in the fridge, overnight or 24 hours.
24 hours later.
We're gonna dehydrate them at 55 degrees Celsius and we're gonna start at 12 hours. I might flip them after the first few hours because they kind of stick to the plastic a little bit. Maybe 10 hours I might start checking them, but usually the first ones need to come off around 12 hours. If it's not completely dry or it's slightly thicker, it might take a few extra hours. It's been about 12-ish hours. We're just gonna test the dryness of the jerky now. This is why we use the sizzle steaks as well. So with those like 5mm thick sizzle steaks, they kind of end up around the same point. If you're slicing it yourself, you could have anywhere from between 10 hours and 15 hours or like from when your jerky is ready. So what I'm looking for is that as we grab the jerky, if we just do a little bend in it, so what we're looking for is that cracking. We want it to crack and bend, but not have any softness in the middle. So I'll show you what that means. What I like to do as well is to give a little rip. So you can try a bit, and it's up to personal preference as well. Some people like their jerky a little bit wetter. Some people, oh my God, that's so good. Some people like it quite dry. See if I can show you a dry piece. Have a look at this one. So this, I would leave in, even though you're starting to get the pull apart and the cracking, it just looks like it needs maybe another hour. So it looks a little bit moist on the inside. Moist, another hour. The thin one, yeah, that's ready. Watch this. That's that perfect rip you're looking for. Some for the dog. So what I use, I'll just chuck it in. So good. I'll just chuck it in a little container, a little bit of paper on the bottom, throw my lid on, chuck it in the fridge. It's good for 2 weeks. That's it, guys. Hopefully I've shown you guys the easiest and most delicious, and I promise you it is the most delicious way to make jerky. Anyway, make it. It's super easy. It tastes way better than stuff you get to see in the shops. We're currently working on our sous vide video, so if you're interested in sous videing, making that insanely perfect steak, I tell you, yeah, the jerky's good. Wait until you see a sous vide. So working on that at the moment. Subscribe if you want to learn how to sous vide like us.